Oh, we got development notes, boys. All right, so let's see what we got, boys. Brand new build. Wii U, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. Let's see. War Within development notes. These look like they're not new. These, maybe we have to look at the response to this. Maybe it's an additional one today. Yep, 1 minute ago. Here we go. Okay, we have a new zone in Delve. I didn't think we were getting a new zone today. We got a brand new, wait, we got a new Delve? No, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so we have a new delve, which is insane. A couple new delves, probably. We have 2 new dungeons. I believe one of these, just looking at the name... Actually, I think both of these are in Season 1, Dragonflight Mythic Plus. Or, War Within, you know what I mean. Apparently, you can play the new Allied race, which is basically thick rock guy. Character level has now been increased to 75. We won't be leveling. There are new hero talents available for playtesting. Fel-Scarred is available, which is the second Demon Hunter one. We'll look more into that later. Actually, let's read this. It embraces the monster within. Blasts of devastating Felfire are unleashed while in demon form, and activating meta greatly empowers additional... Okay, so like meta is stronger is the hero power. The Fel-Scarred endure a pain that bubbles just beneath the surface. Dude, that's so epic, by the way. Granting increased max fury and a portion of their demon form bonuses at all times. Those who stand in their way will inevitably be introduced to that pain by intense fiery abilities and blades that burn with... Dude, someone put a blindfold on to type this paragraph. For sure. Okay, let's see, Monk, Master of Harmony. Master of Harmony was accessible, but several talents were still being worked on. In Alpha 2, Master of Harmony is fully playtestable. Cool. Wait a second. All fear, silence, sleep, and stun and interrupt visual effects have been updated with a new visual. Additionally, all movement speed slowing effects greater than 50% will now display a universal slow visual on the target. Oh, that's really interesting. And nice. That's actually really fucking good. For some reason, I don't know why we were asking for the game to just be more obvious when not need weak auras for as many things, but also just wanting the visualization of the game to be better, and this sounds really cool. I wonder what it looks like. That'll probably be the first thing I look at. Our main priority for this visual update is to increase the clarity and consistency of the common status effects. For example, it's taken quite a few different visual forms, mostly of multicolored dust clouds. Okay, whatever. Mage Sun Fury. Spells cast by the Arcane Phoenix no longer benefit from the caster's secondaries, spell bonuses, or talents. So they're just nerfing this probably because it was insanely strong. Hopefully, what they can do is nerf the power level of Sun Fury without nerfing the fun. Because one thing is it looked super, super fun. Okay, reduce the damage of all Arcane Phoenix AoE spells, activation overlay, memory of Alar, Arcane Soul Buff redesign. Yeah, so no one who played Sun Fury correctly last week on the alpha was like, this isn't gonna get nerfed, right? And they were like, I'm just gonna die on the hill that Sun Fury shouldn't be nerfed. Or maybe there were some of those people that were doing that thing where they're like, never nerf anything, always buff everything else to the best thing, which is just crazy. Wait, what? Did they completely remake Fire? What is this? Fire got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 new talents and a bunch of... Wow, Fire just got a full rework. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right, we'll have to have a conversation with some Maguses over the weekend to discuss that. Monk. Conduit of the Celestials. Heart of the Jade Serpent now increases the cooldown rate of affected spells by 75%, was 100. Honestly, I like this change. Wait, someone was watching my stream last week. For sure. This is exactly what I said they should do. Like, to the fucking word. I said that the cooldown rate was too much to feel synergistic. It was just too much all at once in your cooldowns. And I also said that you wanted to cancel Fist because it lasted so long and Fist needs to channel faster. And they did the exact same thing. That's fucking hype. Windwalking is now 1 point talent. Make it a 1 point talent and also make it like 10 times better. You'll never take this note under any circumstances. Some connections have moved within the final gate. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll look at that. No. Okay. Whoa. Okay, I have so many notes here. Expel Harm no longer triggers combo strengths. That's fine if you find a way to generate chi any other way. If you can't, like on the pull, if you just Tiger Palm once and then, I mean, I guess you're going to start with 2. Now, let's read all of this. Chi Wave no longer triggers. That makes sense. Combat Wisdom now balances your chi to 2 while out of combat. With the removal of Expel Harm from the list of combo strike triggers, we'd like to naturally smooth out Windwalker's opener by having them start with some additional chi. This also reduces the ramp-up steps for them to get going rotationally. Okay, that's actually really good. So the opener is going to just feel better with all of this removed. It's literally Tiger Palm, press cooldowns, blast. That's great. As opposed to like currently on live, you precast chi explosion, or sorry, chi burst, and you hope that someone doesn't pull the boss early or late or something and mistime it, and then you do, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just way better than that, and it's way better than it was last week. Okay, all of that makes sense. They just want to, some people aren't okay with Expel Harm being removed from an active button. I'm also still trying to come around on that, but this is definitely a better opener scenario that was existing than last week if you were playing the alpha, in my opinion. Okay, Storm, Earth, and Fire now triggers combo strikes. Oh, so that means that if you ever did want to press Tiger Palm clones Tiger Palm, that wouldn't break your hit combo, right? It like now just counts that as a thing. Moving forward, we'd like combo strikes to not trigger from spells that aren't intuitive to mix into your rotation, such as Flying Serpent Kick. Oh, they made Flying Serpent Kick not do it too. I'm gonna have to come around on that because wait, did they say that actually? Yeah, I mean they did. They mention it here, but I don't see a note here that says Flying Serpent Kick no longer. It just says it has a longer cooldown. Interesting. Whatever. Here we go. What is it? Flying Serpent Kick didn't trigger strikes in the last build. Oh, I didn't know that. I was pressing it as if it did, but okay, that makes sense. Let's see. We want the initiation of cooldowns to feel as smooth as possible. May allow for ordered elements to feel easier to play around. Sweet. Ordered elements now is a 7-second duration was 5. Oh, that's so much better. 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 I mean, I suggested this exact change last week, so fuck yeah. Shout out to the dev that was watching the stream for sure. Jade Fire Harmony now increases the damage and healing taken by 8% for its duration was 12. Okay, that's great. This means that Jade Fire Stomp is now no longer required in all situations, potentially. So if you looked at the Windwalker, and by the way, just for people who hear Jade Fire Stomp and immediately get triggered like I normally do, Jade Fire Stomp plays nothing like it used to. It doesn't reset. You don't have to sit in it. It's just on a cooldown, and you just press it on a CD. It feels perfectly fine now, but you were going to have to take it in all scenarios because the second point was just a 60% uptime on a 12% damage increase, which is just way too good on its own. So them nerfing that makes it just more of a choice, which I like. Crane Vortex is now a 1-point talent that, oh my god, this is, wait, is Crane Vortex what used to, okay, wait, I need to look at the notes. So let's look at, why is it not going to beta? WoW Retail Beta, movie the 11th Beta. Maybe just regular Wowhead page than beta because there is no beta. There we go. Okay. The War Within talent calculator. Windwalker, whatever, Conduit of Celestials. It was this. It was, yeah, Crane Vortex. Interesting. So it was a 2-point talent and you would never take it. This is a 2-point talent and you would never take it. And now they changed that to each of these are a 1-point talent. And this is the radius of Spinning Crane Kick. You know, initial thought is I would never want to take this because, you know, just hit things with your Spinning Crane Kick. But I actually wonder how much damage you would gain by having an increased radius on Spinning Crane Kick. This sounds like something that initially sounds really bad, but I bet might actually be a good talent point in some scenarios. What I hope, though, is if that's the case, if it just makes Spinning Crane Kick feel better, spending a capstone level point on that might feel bad, and maybe you should just make Spinning Crane Kick's radius bigger, but anyways. Rising Star is now a 1-point talent. Is it a 1-point talent that gives you the benefit of 6% Rising Sun Kick damage and 16% crit? Because I think if it's the other one, you would still never take it, but whatever. Vivify Healing is increased by 30%. It did feel very low. Sky Touch no longer increases the range of Tiger Palm, now increases critical strike chance by 15%, and its lockout is 30 seconds was 60. This, okay, so there's a lot that I like about this. So Sky Touch previously being tied to a 1-minute cooldown, just, it had the same effect that Bone Dust Brew had. So Bone Dust Brew was a strong 1 minute for a lot of AoE scenarios last expansion, but it took away from what your class is actually good at, which is using Storm, Earth, and Fire in random timings that are not lined up at just 1 and 2 minute cooldowns and stuff like that. Where when you run something like Sky Touch or Bone Dust Brew, you're definitely going to be using clones around this. And that kind of makes your class super one-dimensional. So them just putting this on the 30-second mark, I think just makes it a lot more versatile. As far as the actual potency of it, it's certainly nerfed. But I don't really like playing with Sky Touch. Also, this class has kind of an issue right now, and I'm not sure how pronounced this issue is going to be in the future. but like they have way too many things that increase your damage. Like Jade Fire Stomp increases your damage afterwards. Strike of the Windlord gives you a damage amp after it's over. Rising Sun Kick overlaps give you a damage increase. I could find a bit more, but it's like there's just like so many parts of your kit. I think it's like something like 8 will just give you a Blackout Kick. When you spend a Blackout Kick proc, your next one does 175% increased damage. There's all just like a bunch of do this thing, get a damage increase, which sounds really hard to tune and hard to play. And I don't know, just kind of counterintuitive. So just something I'm thinking about a lot right now. Okay, Flying Sermon Kick, Shadowboxing, Treads, extra Blackout Kicks are now 80% effective, was 100. This would have felt bad in this expansion. Blackout Kick is like a fucking ton of your damage now. I think probably like the power of Shadowboxing Treads was probably just too high for a single combat or for a single talent point. So I think this is a decent change. We're adding a tuning knob to Shadowboxing Treads so we can easily tune its damage between single target and... Yep, sounds perfectly normal. Can you scroll up so we can see? Yeah, actually what I normally do is this. I forgot about this. It hasn't been alpha season in a long time. What you do is you want to do this like that, and then you want to make it bigger. And then usually I had something on the other side. It was usually just like, I guess, like some talent builds to kind of see the difference. And then that way everyone can kind of see everything. Sorry. We had to get back in the zone here. All right, anyways, we just read all the Windwalker stuff. I'll go faster on the other stuff. Oh, just kidding. I played Red a lot last patch. Or last week. High Lord's Judgment has been renamed to High Lord's Wrath. I don't even know. Cool. Mastery has been renamed to this Mastery. It now also causes Judgment to have a chance to blast a that was already in the game, I think. Except for the redesign. Let's see. Mastery, High Lord's Judgment is 50 to 100% more effective on Judgment and Hammer the Wrath. Judgment applies an additional stack if it's known. Adjudication has been redesigned. Critical strike damage of your abilities. Blades of Light has been redesigned. This undamaging holy single target holy power abilities now deal holy strike damage, and your abilities that deal holy strike damage deal 5% increased damage. Okay, I'm just have to play around with the thing a little bit. Divine Arbiter now has an additional effect. Grant you a stack. High Lord's Judgment and holy strike damage abilities grant you a stack of this. Okay, so it just makes Divine Arbiter better, which is pretty rough in AoE right now. Searing Light is an additional effect. High Lord's Judgment and Radiant damage has a chance to call down an explosion of holy fire. Blessed Hammer from Adjudication now spawns from target. Execution Sentence now causes the enemy to... Oh, just Execution Sentence nerf across the board. Interesting. I will say one weird thing with Ret right now, just tuning-wise, is that it feels like in a single target situation, you have to play Execution Sentence, and in an AoE situation, you have to play Final Reckoning. And that just seems kind of boring, especially in a world where you're already choosing to Divine Storm or Templar's Verdict all the time. So having more versatility at the bottom of the tree sounds better, and having those points not be as necessary, I think, is just good, in my opinion. You have to keep in mind, I feel like I just want to mention this at the beginning of Alpha one more time, because a lot of people misunderstand stuff like this. You guys will see a nerf to your class, and you're like, no, I don't want my class to become weaker. But in Alpha, you really have to shift your feeling not from, like, power to feel. Feel is everything. Your class could get a 30% damage buff when the War Within launches, and it might be the best class in the game. And if they nerf your class, if they nerf a lot of the unfun things about your class, and in the same way they're also nerfing your power, that's fine, because, like, there's just not a scenario where the expansion is going to launch and you're going to be doing 50% less damage than everyone else, right? Like Dragonflight for DPS, especially in like raid environments, most well-tuned expansion ever, right? What you really want is you want your class to be fun and to make sense. So things like this, when he's talking about Ret right now, right? If you feel like in certain scenarios, at the end of your capstone level in your tree, if it's single target, you're always picking this. If it's AoE, it's always picking this. That makes the versatility of all of this off. But you have to ask yourself if those things are fun too, right? You just don't want points to feel required. And generally speaking, you want all of these points at the bottom, all the points in the middle, outside of the ones that like kind of are obviously leading you in a direction, like grabbing Shield of Vengeance or Crusader Avenging Wrath Might. You want these points to give you the same relative value as points around it, so you just have more interesting choices. Let's just make up something here. Let's say one of these abilities here, one of these choice nodes are just way more powerful than all the rest of them. It affects the way you have to path, and it just gives you less choice over the expansion. In an ideal world, all this stuff is roughly the same power level, but they're different and cool, so you can try different things and make your class feel different based on the scenario, and it not be something where you just lose all of your power and you're stuck into one build. Which is maybe why they're doing something like this. Because I don't think Execution Sentence is like super OP, but it is definitely something you would always take in single target right now. And anytime that's the case with really any spell, that's kind of weird. Unless it's super, super, super fun. High Lord Judgment increased by 50. It's now 1 rank. High Lord's Wrath, Mastery. Well, okay. Okay, so it makes your mastery more effective on Judgment and Hammer of Wrath. Judgment applies an additional stack of Greater Judgment. Okay, isn't that the same thing as the old tier, where it would like give you 2 finishers per judge or something like that? Am I thinking of the wrong thing? Nothing for Arcane Mage and Frost. Okay, so I just want to mention that this was a YouTube chat. I just want to mention one thing. So not everything can be reworked in every build, and a lot of the times the class designer process is collaborative. It makes a lot more sense for you to work on one patch, one spec, get a ton of feedback, get that right, and then move on to other things, rather than be like, all right, mages, we're reworking you, but the expectation is you have to have something ready for every spec, right? Yeah. I think they already said they were doing fire first as well. All right, anyways, going forward, Warlock, new talent. Hellstone you conjure for yourself are now demonic Hellstones and can be used multiple times in combat. Hellstones cannot be traded. These demonic Hellstones cannot be traded. Okay, so some new, like, that's super interesting. Are they going to cool down just like normal? So Warlocks will be able to Hellstone 3 times on an encounter on a 1-minute cooldown? No, it's not a 5-minute CD. That's Health Pot. Hellstones are usually on a 1-minute cooldown. Well, maybe demonic Hellstones will just have a different cooldown. It's literally a different item, right? So it can have a different cooldown. That is extremely good. Like, extremely fucking good. Okay, new talent reduces the cast time of Soulstone and Create Hellstone by 50%. Wow. Dude, Warlocks just can't... Can they get any better? Demonic Tactics increases melee spell and crit... Fel-Pact is now 1 rank and redesigned. Okay, Fiendish Stride is now 1 rank and redesigned. Grimoire of Synergy... Wait, what is Grimoire of Synergy? I know Inquisitor's Gaze. Okay, this is just a bunch of class tree moves, it looks like here. Just random damage-based proc. Okay, well, one thing I can tell you, and Locks will be the first people to tell you this, and I know it's really insufferable to a lot of you guys because Warlocks are so frequently extremely powerful, so you don't want to hear them complain, but they have actually had some of the worst, like, class and spec tree designs of the entire expansion, and they've kind of been in need of some design gameplay feel things for a while, so I'm glad Warlocks are getting looked at here. I'm interested to see if these changes are good. So let's see. So Soul Leech is no longer baseline, has been added to the Warlock tree. Soul Conduit, now 1 rank. Abyss Walker. Affliction. Malefic Rapture is now baseline, has been removed from the Affliction tree. So that's good in that you're going to be gaining a point. It's bad in that most Affliction Warlocks would tell you that they just don't like Malefic Rapture existing in general, but we can move on from that. Unstable Affliction has been moved to row 1. Writhe and Agony moved. Again, a lot of the move stuff we'll just ignore because you just need to see how it all plays together. Absolute Corruption and Siphon Life have been moved to row 3. Oh, so they're keeping Siphon Life. That's one thing that Warlocks will also not like. Okay, then there's just a million new talents. Wait, Siphon Life's been redesigned? Oh, boy, Let me just read some of the new talents and see if any of them are cool. Malefic Rapture has a chance to trigger a Shadow Bolt Volley. Okay, it depends on its power level, but a cool AoE node. I know something that Affliction struggled with, and I think they mentioned is something they wanted to do with Affliction, is Affliction, it was mostly melee classes that actually had this problem. Like Warriors, for example, at the beginning of the expansion were really, really bad with it. But basically, classes where your AoE spec tree and your single target spec tree look totally different just really struggle to be powerful in PvE. Like Choice is good, but also you're just gonna get gapped by classes that have to change 1 or 2 talents and can do both at the same time. Warlocks were like the ranged version of this, where Affliction Warlocks specifically were like either full AoE or full single target, but their AoE was like so good. Like sometimes you would play Affliction and like zone out and change specs. So I wonder how that's gonna play out. Let's see. Summoner's Embrace increases damage dealt. Cool. Death's Embrace, drain life. Cool. Relinquished Agony is one. I don't even know how Warlocks work. I'm just gonna only pay attention to ones here that I actually understand. Oh, this one might be cool. Cast time of Shadow Bolt is reduced, so if you have to cast a lot of fillers, just basically being more mobile sounds good. Read Death's Embrace, don't ADHD pass it. Increases drain life healing by 30% while your health is below 35%, and damage done by your dots is increased by 5% when your target is at or below 20% health. So small execute buff and small self-healing buff. Is that like, I mean, if you told me to read that, it must be pretty good, but I don't know. Like I said, Warlock is a class. I only played Destro Warlock like a long time ago. And I think in MOP. Don't understand a lot of things. Summoner's Embrace increases the damage dealt of your life drained by your shadow spells and demon. Cool. Periodic critical strike chance. Cool. Critical strike damage dealt by these things. Okay, so these two nodes kind of go... Oh, I wonder if that'll be a choice node. New talent, Cold the Weak, Malefic Rapture deals more damage. Empowered Unstable Affliction. I'm just... Dude, is there any I should read here that are like super interesting? Because I just don't understand any of these words. Maybe I should just read the Siphon Life thing. Siphon Life has been redesigned. Corruption deals 20% increased damage and heals you for 5% of the damage dealt. So that's what the Siphon Life talent means. It's now a passive that just increases the damage of corruption. That's great. Yeah, Warlocks have been screaming at the top of their lungs that anytime they had to play Siphon Life because it was numerically correct, but it made them hate playing their class, should be a sign that that thing should be gone. Kindled Mal's been redesigned. Cool. Malevolent Visionary. Don't know what that means. Don't know what any of this stuff means. A bunch of stuff's been removed. Bunch of stuff's been moved. Cool. We'll talk to a Warlock later and see how that feels. Okay, end of the notes here, it looks like. Defensive stance no longer reduces damage dealt by protection warriors. So I'm assuming they want Prot to just sit in defensive stance then. That's the idea. So I think there's probably two sides to this, and I haven't played Warrior this expansion, so definitely take my opinion with a grain of salt. But I think, at least initially, Warriors kind of liked the option of being able to stance to do more damage in the right scenarios and go defensive when they had to. But like WoW for a long time was like, you're just in defensive stance if you're a Prot Warrior. You're just in this stance if you're a Fury Warrior. You're in this stance if you're a DPS Warrior. I don't know if that still makes it this case where you're always going to do that, but I could see that, depending on what kind of player you are, I could see this being positive or negative. New talent. Replacing improved rogue throw. Fight through the flames. Defensive stance additionally reduces magic damage you take by 5%. That's great. Warriors have pretty famously always struggled with magic damage, so giving them some extra mitigation there is solid as fuck. Definitely. That is boring. Oh, you're talking about defensive stance? I mean, this is... I guess a flat DR is boring, but it's pretty necessary to their kit. There are Blizzard posts on the Lock and Mage channels now. Okay, we can maybe check that out. Usually it'll be at the top. Oh, I always forget. You have to, like, maximize Wowhead so you can see... Okay, feedback for Monk updates. And do they give more... When was this post? 7 days ago. Okay, so... Where was this? 7 days ago again? 7 days ago? 6 minutes ago. Okay, I want to read this Monk thing. I'm assuming this is all a little bit more insight here. Let me make my screen work for my current stream setup here. Oh, this looks perfect, doesn't it? Does this look professional or what? Right now. Look at my stream right now. Look at this. Except for the fact that chat is randomly super small from the raid the other day, and I don't really know where I can put it without it ruining everything I'm talking about, but yeah, all good. So let's keep going. This just looks professional, but okay. Here we go. This alpha brings more changes. Cool. Tiger Palm is the most commonly used button for Windwalker, but historically it's represented very little overall damage itself. I don't think that's really a problem, though. Like, does anyone really want the button they're pressing to generate resources so they can cast the abilities that should do damage? Do they want that button to be like a large source of your damage? I don't know. I don't. But should it be nothing? Probably not, too. But, like, you're definitely not looking for that to own. Like, it's the whole builder-generator thing, right? Or generator-spender thing. But historically, it's represented... Okay, cool. We want Tiger Palm to remain mostly about generating chi, but also represent a more meaningful % of its damage. Our goal is not to change rotational priorities, but to make every button press feel directly meaningful. So they're basically saying, we think Tiger Palm just does a little bit too much damage. A little bit too little damage right now. This also goes tackling some interesting damage profiles by increasing their priority to target damage even in AoE scenarios. We're excited about talents like Martial Mixture for this reason. Okay, cool. We've removed Chi Wave and Expel Harm from the list of spells that trigger this. Since this is now automatically triggered, we didn't think it was intuitive for these to trigger Mastery. That's for sure. You would have had to have some very weird weak aura situation to know when you were going to cast Expel Harm, to know if you could Tiger Palm again directly after it twice in a row. Like, super weird. Same with Chi Wave. Along this, we're making some couple adjustments to Storm, Earth, and Fire. Oh, we already read this. Storm, Earth, and Fire being added to the list of spells. We already talked about this as well. And then in next week's alpha build, we're repositioning some nodes in the Windwalker tree to free up some builds we're excited about. The main change is moving Teachings of the Monastery to Flying Serpent Kick's location and moving Flying Serpent Kick baseline. Oh, fuck yeah. Teachings of the Monastery is a talent we're now considering core to the specs design in all scenarios, as it should be, and moving it to a more centralized location frees up a talent point to increase optionality elsewhere. Fucking, dude, guys. I know a lot of you guys aren't Windwalker, and I know every single time I start talking about Windwalker, you fucking, your eyes glaze over, and you're like, this guy, I don't even care about Windwalker, and he treats every other class like they're all the same, but Windwalker, he just treats differently, and you're exactly right, because I fucking love this spec, but this is like, this spec has been historically really, really ignored, and I wouldn't even say ignored. It's frequently not ignored because they couldn't ignore it because it was always like underperforming because they didn't scale. This is the first time that Windwalker Monk has felt understood. I think think that's the best way I can put that. Like, it's the first time that when you're reading changes about Windwalker, it feels like someone there just fucking gets it, where that has definitely not felt like the case previously. Anyways, let's keep going. So I'm really interested in looking at the Fel-Scarred hero talent trees. We'll probably just check that out. Maybe we'll make an earthen monk or something. See how the big, thick rock boys are looking. That sounded strange, but you know what's up. So we already looked at the Warlock and Mage thing here. I don't really give a fuck about them, so we'll just, I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do this weekend? I'll have a Mage and Warlock call and kind of get like a little update. Maybe only one of them. I don't know if I have the mental fortitude to speak to both, to like 2 wizard specs in one weekend. So probably just one, if we're out here making promises. But yeah, who knows? Anyways, let's look at the Demon Hunter updates. Actually, before we look at the Demon Hunter updates, do we have to look at, okay. No, they just basically wrote the same epic paragraph and then... Okay, so we know that this hero talent tree is kind of based off of... We know the hero talent tree is kind of based off of meta, I guess. All right, let's just... let's look at it. There we go. New allied race. Give me the new Fel-Scarred hero talent tree. Yep. All right, let's read this, boys. Let's go. And let's pull up the tier maker I have. So let's see where Fel-Scarred lands, everybody. Where do we think Fel-Scarred will land on the tier list of hero talents? All right, let's see. So, unreleased. So far, by the way, the ones we haven't seen yet, there's only very few left in the game. Deathstalker, Fatebound, Totemic, Stormbringer, Fel-Scarred, which is now released, Oracle, and Archon. All right, you guys are all saying it's really bad. I'm not going to let you taint my opinion. I'm going to give my opinion without it being tainted by you all. Get tainted? No. All right, here we go. Fel-Scarred tree is for Havoc and Vengeance and focuses primarily on meta. Let's remember what we've learned from hero talents so far. You can tell how good the tree is going to be most of the time by just reading the first node, and sometimes you need the last node to kind of clarify the first node being good, but most of the time you can read the first node and be like, all right, this fucking bangs. So let's see if it passes that test. Node number 1, Demon Surge. Meta now also greatly empowers Soul Cleave and Spirit Bomb, and meta now also increases the current and max health by 5% and armor by 20%. Okay, bad vibes. Extremely bad vibes at the moment. While Demon Form is active, the first cast of each empowered ability introduces a Demon Surge, causing you to explode with Fel energy and fire. Okay, so every time you press Annihilation or whatever the Blade Dance, Giga Blade Dance Death Sweep, you will do big damn. So I guess that's going to feel good for just the build, right? The build of, what is this? You know the one Demon Hunter build where you go like way down and... Oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to navigate this here. The Demon Hunter build where you're like in meta more often, like pressing buttons reduces the cooldown in your meta. Yeah, like Cycle of Hatred. Yeah, like so this is kind of aimed towards that because you're just simply going to get more uses of this if it's any good. I'm not a huge fan of that build, but really only because it means you're most likely not playing Inertia, but that can change with like a spec tree move around and stuff. But they did that kind of recently, so I doubt that there are classes that's going to get one of those. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's go down the left. We usually do that. This is their utility node. Movement speed is increased by 1% per 10 Fury. Spent over 10 seconds, or just not a lot of information there. Chaos Nova slows enemies by 60% and reduces attack and cast speed by 15% for 5 seconds after its stun fades. So you're going to take the first one almost all the time, at least in Mythic Plus. That's interesting. There's actually very rarely slows in this game that are more than 50%, and they've added 2 of them now. With now Demon Hunter gets one, and Monk can just roll through enemies and slow them by 60%. The attack and cast speed thing is an interesting defensive cooldown too. Cool. Let's see. Why is it not called Pursuit of Anger? Pursuit of Angriness. You're right. That is kind of a goofy name. Your blades burn with Fel energy, causing your Chaos Strike, Throw Glaives, and auto attacks to deal an additional 10% damage as fire over 6 seconds. Cool. Kind of boring. Kind of boring, but the reason they probably made this is for theme. They're like, your blades are fucking brimming with Fel energy. Shit like that. Max Fury increased by 50. That actually sounds not too bad for current inertia. Like, you definitely can gain Fury extremely fast. Like, having a bigger cap of Fury would actually feel pretty good. Like, it feels useless, but, like, if you're getting, like, hella procs, it would just make you be able to use your Fel Blades more instead of feeling like you have to hold it. That's not bad. I think this is fine. At least for Havoc, that would be, that would feel definitely good. Not like, necessary. It's not like, this is gonna increase our damage by 1,000,000, but, like, quality of life, I mean, absolutely feels good. Yeah. Also allows you to pool more. Okay, so Demon Surge deals 35% increased damage that strikes a single target. Okay, so just not only an AoE thing, but it just fits single target better. Cool. When you activate meta, the cooldowns of Sigil of Flame and Fell Devastation are immediately reset. This seems like they didn't really think of Havoc, but Havoc already gets a bunch of resets when you meta, I guess. But like, I mean, if you're Havoc and you're reading this, you're like, okay, you know. Sigil of Flame can apply Student of Suffering to you, increasing mastery and granting 5 fury every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. Sigil of Flame can apply Student of Suffering to you, increasing your mastery and granting 5 fury every 2 seconds for 8 seconds. Doesn't it do that now? Doesn't it give you fury now? Is that through some kind of talent thing, though? I guess that makes sense. I mean, like, for example, if they gave you this without increased fury, you would just, like, giga overcap fury. Oh, it's upfront on cast? Yeah, I mean, interesting. Yeah, okay, just adding mastery to it. That doesn't sound awful. Immolation Aura has a 2-yard increased radius and 30% increased critical strike damage bonus. Super boring. Let's read the right first. Let's see what their defensive thing is. Oh, it looks like it's this. 5% of all non-fire damage taken is instead taken as fire damage over 6 seconds. Fire damage taken reduced by 10%. So you stagger 5% of damage you take. And also that damage is reduced by 10%, just in general. And if there's ever a boss that does fire damage to you, you will actually be immortal. Like, think about this on, like, Smolderon. Like, holy fucking shit. That's actually situationally insane. And just having a permanent 5% stagger is kind of good. Like, I mean, think about Demon Hunter at a really high level right now. Like, I know this is extremely niche and affects, and I mean the smallest portion of WoW players ever. But do you know how Demon Hunters are like, Havoc Demon Hunters are really, really tanky in all raid content and pretty much all Mythic Plus content until you reach like a 29 or a 30. And then now it's like, okay, now we just don't have enough defensiveness to live the boss like screaming at. It's just an infinite scaling problem where like the boss just yells every 15 seconds and you need to have defensiveness for more than 100% of your HP bar. And like Demon Hunters miss that a little bit. Like it could be kind of aimed at that because you kind of just need more passive mitt or the ability to stack a verse to live those kind of situations. Or you just need to be one of the classes that has 5 defenses, but they need to remove those from the game in the first place. And they're already kind of doing that with Monk already. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, look at the other one. So Leech granted by Soul Rending is increased by 2% and an additional 2% while meta is active. Okay. You're going to take the first one all the time, I think. Let's see. Enduring Torment. The effects of your demon form persist outside of it in a weakened state, increasing Blade Dance damage and Chaos Strike damage by 5% and haste by 3. And Vengeance, the effects of increasing your max health by 5% and armor by 20. So this is just permanent, right? Like you will always have this. So Dungeon Demon Hunters just gain 5% HP and 20% armor. Okay. Kind of boring, but whatever. Agility increased by 5% while not in demon form. All right. So far this tree is just completely uninspired, not interesting, and just those completely uninspired and not interesting. Let's see what the capstone does. Can the capstone make it a little cooler? Activating Metamorphosis greatly empowers I-Beam, Fel-Dev, Immolation Aura, and Sigil of Flame. And then Demon Surge damage is increased by 10%. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. So the way that a lot of these hero talents have worked, when I initially read them, I'm thinking all gameplay. But then when I actually play them, one thing that hero talents really scream to me is theme. So, like, for example, I want to see the visuals of this. If you're a Havoc Demon Hunter as this build, are you, like, constantly having green fucking shit popping off everywhere? Does this greatly empower, just like it greatly empowers Blade Dance and what's that ability called? Chaos Strike? Yeah, Chaos Strike into Annihilation and Death Sweep. Like, are these gonna look, like, is it gonna be a fucking crazy looking I-Beam? Is it gonna be a crazy looking Immolation Aura and Sigil of Flame? Like, gameplay-wise, this is certainly it's just so mid, right? But I'm interested to see how fucking cool you look by being this. Because I think that can bring it back a little bit, too. But certainly there... I don't even remember... I don't remember what I felt about the other one. So Eldrachi Reaver was, like, mid, I remember. But I don't even remember... I want to look at it again. So War Within Talent Calculator, Havoc. I don't remember Eldrachi Reaver. Does Eldrachi Reaver at least offer some cool gameplay thing in return? It was like, yeah, Reaper's Mark, 3 additional glaive slashes, eventual retreat a second time. Oh, that was cool, yeah. Really cool, actually. And then Blade Ward, excessive ability. After consuming the gain thrill of the fight, increasing your attack speed. And then didn't they? Oh, yeah. So casting an enhanced ability reduces the cooldown of the hunt. So they added the hunt CDR. Yeah, I remember it being mid. It looks pretty mid. Okay. Max, the developers said that violent transformation. All right. Let's try to remember what the fuck that is. Violent transformation. Here we go. Is supposed to be 2 abilities. Vengeance is going to get Sigil and Fel Devastation, and Havoc is supposed to get Sigil and IA. What the fuck is IA? Immolation Aura. Okay, so when you activate meta, the cooldowns of your... Oh, wait, I mean, that's definitely gonna feel good for inertia, at least. Like, if I'm just thinking of the Demon Hunter build you play right now, meta also giving you an immo charge is definitely legit. Like, that's gonna feel fucking good. I know it's once every 2 minutes, but that's going to feel fucking good. How do you not know IA, ha? All right, I know you're fucking memeing, but like, guys, when you cover every class in this game, even though I've played a more Demon Hunter than most classes, when someone hits you with the fucking acronyms, you're just like, you get lost, dude. I'm not trying to hear any fucking... Like, especially when you talk to someone in a class Discord that's like super just into their one spec, and they just rip an acronym for... every single fucking ability they have. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. That's like the #1 way to tilt me, actually. Okay. Nobody says IA. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So Fel-Scarred, you know what? Before we rate any of the other ones, and we should probably re-rate them after seeing their visuals too, because I think that has just mattered so much more to me. Is Alpha up yet? Can I like just log on can I just make a Demon Hunter real quick and see what's up? I'd like to do... I want to just see how it do. Yeah, I'm assuming the visuals just aren't done for this, and that matters like a shitload. Because like, don't lie, dude. If you spec this hero power, regardless of gameplay implications, if you were pressing Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, Immo Aura, and I-Beam in your meta and they looked like fucking crazy, that would definitely be something that people like. 100%. All right, let's see if it looks any different for Vengeance. All right, now we're about to go massive, boys. Let's go. Holy fuck, look at Sigil of Doom, chat. It's red. Holy fuck. Okay, the thing is, though, I'll say it. Guys, the tree doesn't have a lot going on. But if they end up making it look like all these buttons that are lighting up, if all these buttons that light up right now look how their icons look, it's going to gain a lot of value for that, for sure. It could get saved by visuals hard. But it is kind of hard to be hyped for a tree like this. Just to be honest with you, like, it's hard to get hyped for a tree like this when, like, Sun Fury exists. You know? Like, Sun Fury looks sick, is sick, fucking totally transformative, crazy gameplay, you know? And then, like, you're just like, dude, my visuals are sick. It really matters if your visuals are sick, I promise. But, it's definitely hard to feel like other classes aren't getting it better, you know?